What are some good first date questions to get to know someone? What unresolved childhood trauma will emerge through maladaptive behaviors as we spend more time together? What was your first pet's name? What was your second grade teacher's name? What was the make and model of your first car? What is the name of the road you grew up on? What city were you born in? Then read all their emails and DMs. Good way to get to know someone. If you had to choose any 8 characters, numerical, uppercase, lowercase, and special included, what would they be? Do you have any outstanding warrants? On our first date, my husband and I did a thing where one of us would choose a year, then we'd both say what we were doing in that year of our lives. It was a great way to get to know each other. I literally don't remember what I was doing this morning. Can anyone give an answer on how to get a first date? Let's not put the cart before the horse. Be attractive. Ask how to single someone who finds you attractive. Be attractive. Got it? Quick follow-up. Can anyone give some advice on how to be attractive? Don't be unattractive. OkCupid had a really cool blog about statistics from their huge user base. The 3 questions they found were best predictors for compatibility. 1. Do you like scary movies? 2. Have you ever traveled alone in another country? 3. Wouldn't it be fun to chuck it all and live on a sailboat? If you agree on those 3, you're likeliest to succeed. Edit, because a lot of people are missing this and it's bumming them out. Let me say again, agreeing on these questions correlates with success. Your answers yes or no do not matter, how well they match your partner's answers does. Also, yes, it is just a correlation, not a hard guarantee. There are millions of happy couples that disagree on all 3. Some other fun bits from that article: if you want to know if your date is religious, ask how they feel about spelling mistakes. Higher tolerance of spelling mistakes correlates strongly with being religious. If you want to know if your date is DTF, ask her if she likes beer. There is a strong correlation between the two. As you sit over coffee, get beyond the usual nice to meet you, how was traffic? Having a good day to get the conversation flowing. The next question should always be: so are you aware that you need to put a serious tag on a post if you want to get good answers? Which side were you rooting for in World War II? Dating a 90-year-old? Which vegetable offends you the most? Stephen Hawking. If their name is an uncommon one, make sure you ask what's the correct pronunciation. Literally the first thing I said to my husband on our first date was hello, followed by a butchered attempt to say his name. He replied, "What did you just call me?" And up until that moment, I had never before felt the urge to jump into the nearby creek in mid-February. Ask them who their favorite Muppet is. If they choose anyone other than Gonzo, explain why they are wrong and then leave. Lots of hypothetical situation questions. I find they help you understand how they think and prioritize their lives. Egg. If you could travel anywhere in the world for W month, all expenses paid, where would you go? What would you do? Stuff like this is more fun too, even with just getting to know friends. If you could unpillage and unrape a place ravaged by Genghis Khan, which area and why? Favorite dinosaur? Triceratops. Specifically blue ones. Your parents are about to be executed. You are given a chance to save only one of them. Which one do you choose? Bonus points if you follow up with what's your favorite ice cream flavor? You got STDs? THX for silver. What do you like doing in your free time? I never asked about people's jobs. I didn't really care how they got their money. I cared how they got their excitement and passion. Joke's on you, my answer is work more. Why don't you put away your phone? I've been off the market for 20 years. That situation must be unbearable. Fun, open-ended questions that lets them talk about them a bit. Stuff like, what are your political leanings? Are you religious? What is your stance on the Armenian genocide? Have you ever had a dream that you had to, you could, you do, you it, you are, you could do so, you do, you could, you wanted them to do you so much you could do anything? What are some good first date questions to get to know someone? Hypothetically speaking, if you were on a first date with someone and it was going really well, would you want that person to bring up that they are down to eat ass, or would you rather wait till you asked them? This isn't so much questions, but a little game you can play that can help break the ice and let you know how well you mesh together. If you're at a place like a bar or restaurant, look around the room and try to come up with backstories for other people there. It can be a lot of fun and takes some of the pressure off, while getting you two talking to each other and getting a feel for each other's sense of humor/personality. I tried this game once with a girl. We were guessing how many dates this other couple had been on. It was our third. I was guessing low, 2 or 3 dates tops. She then just walked up and asked them. They had been together 2 years. I nearly died from embarrassment. Nah, she's the girl you want. She'll support you through and through. If you lost her, go find her. Well, she did this while we were on a weekend-long drugs and alcohol bender, and I had only been separated from my wife for a couple of months. Her last text to me was that she's dropping acid with one of her other Tinder friends. I heard from her favorite bartender that she went back to the Czech Republic. That took a wild turn. Will you marry me? Yes. Wow. That was easy. I've got to try this. Does this look infected? Why are you gay using Ugandan accent? I take it you're trying to date and are nervous? Honestly, there is no rule book questions you should really abide to. Just get to talking. Start off with small talk openers like, where did you go to school, where do you work, do you like this and that. Eventually you'll get around to talking about hobbies/experiences. You can tater off and then talk about your own experiences and just ping pong off of each other. Eventually you get a pretty good feel of that person as genuine or fake. That's how most conversation starts sounding natural with a good flow. Of course, if you get somebody that sees you and finds you butt ugly, then you won't get any responses at all. And any questions you ask would lead to no information about them. That's great advice, thank you. We've known each other for a little while now, and I just wanted to get some ideas in case the conversation stopped. Definitely nervous though. How many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed? Why? What are some things our parents don't know about you? I don't know if it's good for a date, but it's fun to ask strangers, what's your favorite compliment? It gives you a lot of information, and I think it starts a conversation pretty easily. What's the largest mammal you think you could knock out with a single punch? I asked my wife, and without hesitation she said squirrel. Folks will often say that you should stay away from RAP on a first date. For the record, that stands for religion, abortion, politics, and exes, the topics you should avoid discussing. Here's the thing, though, unless you're in the market for a short-term, casual relationship, it's in your, and your prospective partner's, best interest to put as many cards on the table as possible. After all, you don't want to spend several months dating, only to discover that you aren't compatible with a person. Like, say, because they not so secretly believe that leprechauns control the weather or something. As such, the best conversation starters are those which lead to simultaneously interesting and revealing exchanges. If you had an hour during which any crime was both legal and socially acceptable, what would you do? Are there any social taboos that you feel are a bit ridiculous? Are there any to which you don't personally adhere? What is the most allegedly unacceptable perspective that you hold? Now, granted, the answers to questions of that nature are very often things that shouldn't be voiced in public, so you'll want to be tactful about where and when you ask them. But at the same time, if the date seems to be going well, you can use the prospect of more intimate discussion as an excuse to go somewhere more private. In either case, the best conversation starters are those which reveal important details about both parties, those which help determine whether or not the two of you will be compatible in the long term. In other words, you should absolutely discuss RAPE on a first date if you're looking for a permanent partner. TLDR, the best conversation starters are those which would normally be conversation enders. Couldn't you just call it PAR instead? I mean, obviously you should stay away from rape too, but bear sounds more innocent.